Don't forget to subscribe to my second channel, Honkai Star Rail 3000. What is going on? Welcome back to Honkai Star Rail 3000. So yesterday was the day the game launched, and you know, from my end, it went off without a hitch, dude. Like, the servers came up an hour and 30 minutes early for whatever reason. I think it was like a way for them to kind of baby step the population into the game, so that way the servers didn't get flooded all at once, like everyone hitting the server exactly at 9 p.m. So the server came up a little bit early on the sneak. People started to trickle in, and dude, I was able to play like 7 hours straight last night with no lag, no crashes, no server issues, no connectivity, nothing. Like, it felt like I was playing a game that already been out for years at that point. No bugs that I can see from like a cursory glance. There might have been some bugs in there, but there was nothing that would stop your gameplay, right? There was no game-breaking bugs at all for 7 hours of gameplay. I gotta tell you, as a person that played tons of MMOs in the past, I know Honkai Star Rail isn't an MMO, but as a person that played tons of MMOs in the past, I've seen MMO launches, expansion launches. I was expecting the worst, dude. I thought we were gonna have some, you know, extended maintenance and downtimes and memes, but no, the game launched, it ran well, we had no problems, so shout out to Hoyoverse on that one. Now, as far as the game itself, this is actually one of the rare games where I'm actually paying attention to the main story at least. As far as like the side quests, like the blue quests, those aren't voice acted and they can get a little wordy, so I skipped the side quests. But as far as the main story, the main plot, I am going through all of that. I'm enjoying it thus far. Well translated. It's actually filled with quite a bit of like real life references and pop culture references, which tells me that the translation team behind this are actually English speakers, right? So you can always kind of tell when a game is like poorly translated, and you know, some of the jokes that might have existed in like the Chinese translation or the Korean translations don't always translate to other languages, but it's very clear here that Hoyoverse went the extra mile, paid whatever budget that was required to actually get some, you know, fluent English speakers to do the translations here, and it absolutely shows, right? Nothing was like wonky or weird as far as how people interacted with each other, especially the text messages. Like, you guys know me, I hate hate's a strong word. I don't like to partake in any of the gacha games, the mobile games out there that have text message features where your characters are constantly text messaging you. In this game, I was actually kind of surprised that there was a lot of funny interactions going on inside the group chat. Like, maybe I need to take a better look at these in other games, because I was taken back on how much I was enjoying and laughing at some of the interactions that were going on in the group text, and the text messages. So solid effort right there. Now, as far as the actual characters themselves, as far as the ones that I've run across so far, you know, they're all a bit cliche, right? Like, Dan is like ultra serious. Welt is like Dan, also ultra serious. Himiko is like, she's supposed to be this older, mature woman, but she looks 20 like everybody else. You have March 7th, which is like basically just anime girl to the extreme. Branya and Gepard are like super ultra serious. I'm not sure how I feel about Serval just yet. The brief interaction that you have with her in the game in the first few hours, it showed me that there was more than meets the eye than just a pop singer. But at the moment, so far, all of the characters have been pretty anime, pretty cliche. Sampo, also very anime, but by far my favorite. Like, just looking at all the artwork of the characters, I would have never thought that Sampo would have been my favorite character thus far, but by far, once you run across Sampo in the game, like, he takes over every scene that he's in. Like, he's that good. I know he's like not really great as far as like tier list is concerned, but you know, dude, when it comes to playing this game, well, pretty much all gacha games, you guys know me, dude, I'm going for the characters that I like the most. Forget the meta, I'll figure out a way to beat a boss. I ain't worried about that. So as soon as I get Sampo, dude, he's on my team. Don't even care what his skills are, I don't care what his meta is, his tier list ranking, I'm using Sampo because that guy is a joy every time he speaks. So shout out to Sampo, all the Sampo lovers out there. Now, on the flip side of that, this game is one of those games that has a silent protagonist. My least favorite thing, right? Like, I could deal with the silent protagonist a little. I would accept it a little bit more if other characters didn't talk to the protagonist so often. So you're in all of these scenes where people ask direct questions to the main character, and the camera zooms into the main character, and the main character just like emotes and flails their arms around as responses. And it's like, oh yeah, thank you for your feedback there, FG3000. Dude, I ain't say nothing. So I don't really like the silent protagonist thing. And there are some times where your protagonist actually speaks. It's typically, at least so far in the early game, only when she's talking to herself, but I would much appreciate it to have a voice protagonist, or just don't talk to me at all, dude. Like, don't be zooming in on my face and have me just like flailing around for no reason. It's just really awkward how the conversations kind of play out that way, where all of the other NPCs are having like full-blown emotional conversations, laughing and joking, and then boom, they zoom in into the main character and you're just standing there looking all silent and quiet. Like, it's just super awkward. But so far, the cliche and predictable characters and the silent protagonist hasn't actually taken away from my enjoyment of the story. The first couple of hours are kind of slow, but as soon as you're introduced, no spoilers, as soon as you're introduced to Coco, dude, I got really interested. Now I'm like, okay, I want to know where this story is going. The first couple hours is the build up, you know, the world building. I totally get that. But once Coco's in the game, that's not really her name. Once Coco's in the game, dude, you're gonna be like, okay, there is way more than meets the eye. I'm into this. I want to see where this goes, and that's where I am currently right now. Now, as far as navigating and exploring the world, you are constantly, like every few steps or so, you are unlocking quick travel points, so getting to anywhere you need to get to in the game is quite easy. As far as like the actual exploration, it's mostly linear. There are a few occasions where you can kind of go off the beaten path, and normally when you go off the beaten path, you'll find like a treasure chest or something like that, so it definitely plays to explore. I'm the type of person, when I play an RPG, I gotta always go the wrong way first. I'm picking up every single thing off the ground. This game's equivalent to like journal entries and like tape recorders that you see in like other games. They're like little books that are scattered across the world. Dude, I never plan on reading any of those books or journal entries, but I'm collecting every single one of them, dude. I'm going through every single trash can. Here's a pro tip. Go through every single trash can that you find in the game. Sometimes click the same trash can multiple times. Pro FG tip for you. You're welcome. And speaking of going off the beaten path, and this is something that you don't even really see that often in single player RPGs until you're like way late in the game, but very early in the game, the first few hours, you can actually fight optional bosses. Like, these bosses do not impede your progress if you want to keep going down the main story pathway and continue going through the story, but they're actual challenging optional bosses. And dude, I fought one last night and it was so rewarding to defeat it, because even though I was at level 20 and the boss recommended level 20, it went down to the wire. Like, dude, it was so satisfying to the point where I'm like, dude, if I was not a content creator, if I wasn't a YouTuber, I probably would not really be going deep in the gacha at all. Like, it's something really satisfying and rewarding to beat some of these bosses here without having like an overpowered team of heroes, duplicates, light cones, and stuff like that. So if you are one of those players out there that are looking for more of like a challenging RPG experience, this game actually has it. Where that challenge goes as you do more and more gacha summons, I'm not sure just yet, but this does, and I know this sounds like copium, this does feel like a game that you might be able to really enjoy, even completely free to play. I know Hoyoverse has a real reputation for being stingy, real stingy, but I don't know, dude. I'm really just enjoying having these encounters be more challenging. But with all that being said, yes, we going deep, real deep. Yes, that's a good amount of damage, good amount of damage. This is it, baby. This is the run. Gamer! Dude, I'm a gamer, baby! Oh yeah, and also, before I forget, so far I've just been going through like the main story, the side quests and stuff like that. The only like real gameplay mode that I unlocked was, get this, you'll never guess. Well, you can probably guess. Dude, a labyrinth mode, a roguelite mode is in the game. You unlock it quite early. I cannot wait to run that all the way through, and I will be doing a video on that to kind of show you how it flows and give you my review of a labyrinth mode, because dude, I'm quite the connoisseur, all right? I'm gonna be judging real hard, Hoyoverse. So yeah, I can't wait to jump back into the game later on today. The entire time I was playing it yesterday, it just did not feel like a standard gacha game hero collector. Like, when you log into Higgin or something like that, you know you're playing a hero collector gacha game, right? It feels a specific kind of way. But Honkai Star Rail, at least so far here in the early game, just felt like a single player RPG, right? Like, there was no like, you know, spend stamina to run a stage, 3-star this, do that. Like, none of that existed. Like, it just felt like a cohesive single player RPG. Now that's good and it's bad, because I do like to have, you know, more of a multiplayer feeling. If I'm gonna be playing an online game, if I'm gonna be playing a gacha game, I want to interact with other players in some way. And currently there is no multiplayer, there's no co-op, there's no PvP. The most that you can do to interact with other players is add them onto your friends list, and then you can use their support units, but that's about it. So hopefully more multiplayer is coming. On one hand, I do love the fact that this game feels so much like a real true RPG, but at the same time, I still want some multiplayer aspect. So hopefully that comes very, very soon. Now, as far as my actual specific account, dude, I do not have luck enabled on this account whatsoever. So far I've done 40 summons and I did not get, I was hoping to get like an extra 5-star before my pity 5-star. Didn't happen. So today I'm gonna do my final 10 pull on the launch banner, and then I'll finally get my guaranteed 5-star. But like I said a little bit earlier in this video, I'm not really in a rush to get a bunch of like overpowered characters, because the challenge is like it's like right there. I will take some light cones though, absolutely. So that's kind of like my early day one impressions. Of course, I will be giving you guys a first impressions a little bit later once I play more of the game. But stay tuned. I want to kind of give you guys my thoughts as I play the game. There's a lot going on, and honestly, I don't want to rush it. As a former MMO player back in the days, there's just too many times where a new game comes out and we all just try to rush to the end game to jump back on the treadmill of just kind of doing dailies and weeklies. And you know, I'm only gonna be able to play this game fresh-eyed one time, so I'm just gonna go ahead and enjoy it, take my time, take in all the story and the lore. There's gonna be so much time for repetitive dailies and weeklies and grinding later on. Like I assure you, there's gonna be plenty of time for that. So you guys tell me, what did you think about the game? Did it live up to your expectations, your pros, your cons? I actually had someone in my stream last night say they uninstalled the game as soon as they were done with the tutorial. They said they were bored to tears. I was like, bro, what? Bro, what? So I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. Tell me what you think down in the comment section below. Once again, my name is FG3000. I thank you guys a ton for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out. And don't forget to let yourself fall into it all.